So you did do the app thing, right?
Wait.
So how long?
Wait.
No, nigga, Let me ask my question.
Because there was just a bit in there that happened, and I just kind of want to explore it. So you was on a dating situation, and instead of swiping left, you swipe right, and then the person found you at the bar.
So y'all like Google?
I'm hella stalker.
Y'all Google people before you go on a date with them?
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's like a whole.
That's for safety purposes though. Like I don't. There's so many. Why don't I expect 50-50?
Mm-hmm.
I just
because she's the prize.
Whoa. There we go. What's happening? This Gator,
What's happening, everybody? This is Mamba.
and it's the Gator and Mamba show.
Welcome to another hot ass episode. Hot episode based off of the facts that it's gonna be a hot weekend coming up. To be honest, Valentine's Day and all that shit. But before we get all into that madness or whatever,
Wait, hot where? In Minnesota? It's never hot here.
it depends on what you're doing,
It's
homie.
always cold.
Nah. My
cold.
bed sheets will be hot, homie. But as I was saying, how was your weekend?
Is this how this episode will go? 'Cause I'm gonna opt out right now.
Nigga, opt out then, nigga.
You keep your business your business.
That's the weekend for me. Go on ahead.
All right.
How was your weekend?
It was my son's birthday. PG. Just hanging out, birthday party. Nothing special.
Oh, nothing special.
Except for I'm taking this nigga to Mexico for his birthday. So I told him like, hey man, I ain't giving you no birthday present because your birthday present is Mexico.
It's the trip.
Yeah. He still asked him, can I buy him this and can I buy him that? It's his birthday.
Man,
put that boy on ice.
Mexico gonna change his whole perspective on stuff. It's always
No,
good.
it ain't.
Yeah, sure. It's always is this his first time internationally traveling?
Nah.
It's not. Okay, well then it won't.
It won't.
Then it won't.
Believe me.
Never
None of the
mind.
other places did. They still asking for a whole bunch and asking and with their head down scrolling on the phone.
Still won't.
That's it.
Well, Ronan's a bit different. He's traveled a lot more than myself, and he actually appreciates the international travel at that. So,
Is that what you did with your weekend? Seeing how Ronan liked his
my weekend
travel?
was filled with family and fun, and just relaxing and chilling out. To be all honest, I know Ronan had a bunch of video game stuff he was interested in because his brother is how do you describe middle big brother? His older brother,
man.
It ain't his oldest brother. But I want to say the more fun one, the one that actually wants to play with him, joke with him, go sledding with him, all that kind of shit. He was real excited that he came over and they actually played a video game and stuff like that. Of course, they played some games that I was like, I don't approve of. Yeah. I didn't approve of, but I'm like, I'll let it slide because he don't get that opportunity any other time. But it was family and fun. That's what this weekend was about.
That's right. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's the precedes to the
You're right. So speaking of
right,
we talking about Valentine's Day in a sense, but mostly we talking about relationships, and we'll talk about the dynamics of that, especially. It's kind of intriguing thinking of how people get together nowadays as compared to how we got together with women or whatever back in the days or whatever. I'm sure there's a stark motherfucking difference as far as how shit worked, because I know even today's age, I was single for a little minute, and it was the swipe this way, swipe that way kind of shit. And that shit seemed less personal and all that shit when, as opposed to back in the days, like you got to muster up your gumshoe to get your swag together to be able to talk to, let's say 10 women, because you're going to get rejected. But you got to get your shit up, courage enough to be like, yeah, I'm gonna talk. Bing,
right.
One came through.
That one,
yep. Right, instead of this swipe left, swipe right, which is like, nigga, you ain't got to muster up no courage for that shit. You just see some words and maybe a video and be like, yep, good, ping, and then maybe y'all DM each other and start hollering and shit.
I'm a firm believer that anybody on that screen on that phone is fake. You know what I mean? Like they don't exist. They, you know, what I'm seeing on the screen is just not reality, because it's just going to be different in person. Period. Just on any level. So it's like, no, because if I'm out and I see you, I see what I like. My eyes see what I like. Therefore, I pursue what I like. But on the screen, it's like, nah, that might not even be the person. It might be some young boy talking about his name is Greg. No, absolutely not. Yeah, I seen the show Catfish, and you ain't finna catfish me. It's not finna happen. So
that's the funny fucked up part, is that when you see everybody's phone, internet-y kind of face, it ain't they face. This is a character. This is somebody, because it's always the best picture that a motherfucker has. It's always the filtered best picture, as opposed to back then. If I'm shooting my shot, if I'm hollering, 9 times out of 10, most of them women ain't gonna have makeup on, ain't gonna have a certain type of clothes. You know, you get less opportunity when it comes to clubs and shit like that. So it's just roundabout that I happen. So the natural, normal shit or whatever, you've got more opportunity with that. So this shit right here is just the fake and phony, as you've been saying. You know.
Well, another thing, since we just talking, you know, what's happening with those them eyelashes? You know, they look like hands. You know, what
fucking
I mean?
big ass spider on their eyeballs.
That's pretty.
I don't know. I think they talk. I think they talk to each other and be like, "What do we think looks pretty to each other?" Because they ain't never asked a
man,
right?
Yeah, like we like your little eyebrows. Like just keep them, and we good to go.
But like, first of all, you keep blinking. You
right,
blinking a lot.
Right. They heavy as shit, right? One eye down and one eye just twitching and shit. Like, you all right?
So we digress. I think we getting into some bashing. The girls ain't gonna like that.
That's not
They're
bashing.
Like, fuck that.
That's
My
not
lashes
bashing.
look good. I had such and such.
Just talking a little smack. Sorry. Apologize.
No, but we do have some guests, and we want to dig into some of this relationship kind of aspect stuff. Just generationally even, and talk some shit through for the most part.
All right.
So y'all up here, I want y'all to introduce yourselves, please.
I'm May.
I'm Annika. Do you want any other detail?
May and Annika, correct? Okay, May and Annika, welcome.
How you ladies doing?
I'm good.
Pretty good.
Good. How do you like Minnesota?
I hate Minnesota.
She wants to leave.
Smart.
I kind of
Smart.
want to leave.
Right.
Yeah, that's very smart. So are you ladies in a relationship?
No.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. So we
she
have
got rid of hers.
2 single young ladies here in the building. We have some questions. Would you like to start? You know, I gotta warm up to my questions.
So obviously y'all heard us talking shit in regards to just a lot of shit. Right?
she remembered it.
I got your ass when I come out there. Right. But ultimately, like we were saying, as we grew up in the archaic age, if you will, right? We had to one-on-one, somewhat face-to-face, and talk to people, and it was more genuine. So I guess the question that I have, when y'all do a lot of dating today, do you feel that you have a lot more or genuineness when y'all talking and dealing with people, or do you deal with people and their representative?
Lean up to the mic.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't gone on the apps quite yet, and I don't know if I'm going to, because I feel like people give you just like this front face like character that they've made up about themselves, and then you have to like break down everything that they've put on their profile and sort of read between the lines, because nothing is ever like, everything's over exaggerated in like every aspect, like in dating,
of social media.
Yeah,
too.
social media, people's resumes. Like, I feel like today there's just so many. It's easy to be somebody else with the internet.
So how? What would you say in terms of? So you just had a relationship. In that relationship, you met each other. Let's say at an event. How did you meet each other?
He was just gonna make up. You just made up this way.
Real.
So we matched on Hinge.
Okay.
But I didn't respond to her, and then she found me at the bar.
So you did do the app thing, right?
Wait.
So how long?
Wait.
No, nigga, Let me ask my question.
Because there was just a bit in there that happened, and I just kind of want to explore it. So you was on a dating situation, and instead of swiping left, you swipe right, and then the person found you at the bar?
Well, we were just at the same bar, and she ran up to me and she was like, Annika. And I was like, who are you? And she was like, we matched on Hinge. And that was it. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't recognize you. But yeah.
And obviously it wasn't a love connection.
I mean, we dated for like 2-ish years.
Oh.
But it was just, I think, wrong timing.
Wrong timing.
What it came down to, yeah.
So what I want to know is, given that initial, hey, you met, hey, it's still that. How long did it take, would you say, to start to get to the layer of a person outside of their character, basically, that's on social media?
I don't know. I feel like it took a while. I feel like some people don't know who they are too. So like their fake personality is their real personality. So like they don't, like, therapy is the only way to get to the bottom of it. So I'm not quite sure what that timeline is.
Damn. Therapy.
Did you hear it? Like, the only to the real them.
I mean,
but here's the question though. How long? You say it took a while, right? But I need to know, like, how long did it take? Like a year, 6 months, a year and a half, 2 years?
probably like
Right. At the end of the
Right. That's what made it.
probably like a year, I would say.
A year.
Damn.
And how did you like the real person once the real person came out?
I liked the real person a lot more than the fake person, and I think like I'm decent at seeing through people's fakeness. So I was sort of like digging to get that real person, I would say.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I feel like that's like a common theme throughout a lot of my relationships too. But
What about you, May? You feel it's difficult to kind of get to through those layers of people today?
I believe so, yeah. I feel like social media plays a big part of it. Like, I feel like people have a lot. I mean, anyone on social media has a very big fake-ass facade of what they want to express themselves as, and it never aligns with who they actually are. And I do agree that, like, once you hit a certain point or you get to that point where okay, we do kind of want a deeper connection, or we do want to have something come out of this, it unfolds gradually and not all at once. Like, there's no way that you're going to meet somebody online or meet somebody even in person nowadays, because the first thing you're going to do is exchange Instagram, Snapchat. It's never numbers no more. It's never like, it's not like a texting thing. You want to just like see what I look like online or see how many followers I got before you make a judgment on what you want to do with me, kind of thing.
So when do you think the time frame is where you start to get to actually know who a person is?
Personally, I think it can go differently with different people, but I think personally I can read somebody fairly quickly and see how that's going to end up. I mean, you might throw in some like, oh, here's some red flags, here's some weird stuff that's going on here that I didn't expect, but usually I can be like, okay, I can see right through you. I know what you're about, what you want, and maybe you might not say that up front, but eventually I'm going to see it. I don't know if there's really a timeline. It goes differently. You might have this dude that I just met. I'm like, okay, it take me a week. I already know what you're all about. I already know what you want from me. I already know how this is going to go or how I know this is going to end. And then you got other dudes that is like, okay, it takes you a little bit to unfold. You kind of have some intellectual emotions, intelligence, like that it takes you a bit longer to unfold all of that or unwrap all of that. But eventually, I don't know, then you can see people who we really are. But like, I don't think there's no specific timeline for each specific person, you know?
So are you saying that everybody, you're going to eventually see who they are?
Yeah, because eventually it's like you're going to get to a point where you can't keep up with your lies. You can't keep up with the stuff that's happening or that you keep expressing. Like, you can sit here and you can tell me, oh, I got this money, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and you are gradually not showing me that within weeks, months, years. That shows me already you're not actually what you're about, you know?
So what about somebody who, or are there people who don't lie, who just give you, this is who I am, flat out, this is me?
I feel like nowadays, not really.
It's
Oh,
rare.
word?
Yeah.
That's like a gem.
Yeah, for sure.
And a lot of people that, like, you would expect it to be the people that don't have social media, but a lot of people that don't have social media are kind of
Almost
odd.
worse.
They're odd?
Yeah.
Huh, why?
I don't know. I feel like social media has, like, developed so many of us. Like, I grew up with, like, I'd say Snapchat came around when I was a freshman in high school, and then, like, Instagram came around when I was maybe middle school, or maybe that was Facebook first. But social media was, like, a part of even
Your
kind of
life.
my growing up.
Yeah, right.
So I feel like it's some people just that never had it are missing that, like, chunk of understanding.
Oh, so you're saying that because social media and internet was part of your growing up, your upbringing, that it's naturally ingrained in you, but older folks maybe, and they can do it, they cannot, you know, it don't really matter.
You ever wondered what it is like? Like, so for instance, he and I would talk about, we grew up without social media, right? So we had to be actually social, right? We had to we had to risk it, right? Risk being embarrassed, whatever. You little short motherfucker, you know, whatever, right? We had to risk that, right? Because you saw this person that you were interested in and stuff like that. You ever wonder what that type of life would look like and what it would do as far as how y'all interact?
What that would look like for
Yeah,
us now,
yeah.
I would personally love that.
Right.
I would
okay.
love it, yeah.
love if everything wasn't so social media based and we could go back to, not that was back then, but like to a time where we could actually have conversations and be social. You can tell nowadays, even with social media, yeah, like people can't be social. People don't know how to talk to each other no more. And so that nowadays, if somebody were to come up to me at any circumstance, any bar, any restaurant, anything, you know, wherever you are, like, that is like very rare that you see. And then I feel like going off of that, then it's like, okay, well, that's rare, so maybe he might be the one because he's taking that
sure.
leap. But it's like, that's really not the reality of it. Like, so I personally would love that. I would love to go back to that so we can have those deep conversations right off the bat and not just doing the Snapchat
trying
game.
to
Let's
dig
just
through it all.
Snapchat pictures to each other. Okay,
Just
you're going to DM me
selfies,
after
yeah.
you look through my Instagram. Like, yeah.
So it's saying hey beneath you then? Because, you know, there's
Like on social media?
no in person. There's guys right, still talking on social media. You know, you got coffee shops, you got where y'all be going? Shopping, you know, to club. You know, there's places where there's people and most of the time people are just doing this versus just looking up and saying, hey, how you doing?
But in
What's your name?
y'all, hey now, like more or less, hey, how you doing? Let me get your Instagram, and then the conversation comes. Not like, hey,
it's
how
not
you
even
doing?
that. I feel like it's, hey, how you doing? You look fine. Let me get your Instagram. Let me get something, and then it's we cross, like, we're off path now. There's no conversation after that. It's really, that's where it stops, and then it's like, oh, well, let me get to know you a little bit, and then they flex a little something, and then you leave. I also feel like the environment too would be a factor. Like, I'm not trying to find my man in the club. Like, I'm at the club with my girls trying to have fun and stuff, and like, if this man's trying to come up to me, you want one thing. You want one thing from the club.
You judging a man just because he went to a club or a bar and had a drink and happened to see a woman and say, hey, and then for you it's
There's
this
no
man is
judgment there. I wouldn't say that's a judgment. I'm just saying that I'm not going to the club to find my man there. If some guys, there are going to be guys that are coming up to me to say, hey, you look beautiful. Hey, you look fine. You know, whatever that is, that's okay. I'm not judging that, but I'm also not thinking at the club that you're coming up to me like, I really want to get to know you. Like, I just seen her and I just really want to get to know her. It's the same thing of, oh, you are so fine. You got this, and this on you. Like, I'm trying to take you home later. That's how that goes from the club. Nothing good comes from
where
the
aren't
club.
you
where
at
are
the club,
you?
though?
Where are you going?
Right.
Where are
I'm
you
not
going
saying. Are you
to
going?
find
Are
them?
you going to the club looking for your wife?
I don't know where.
Yeah,
you
she
never know.
could
they could be anywhere for you. Okay,
That's my
and
point.
that's
My
fine.
point is like you never fucking know. So that's why I'm asking the question like a guy coming up, he may have seen his wifey at the club, right? I'm not necessarily saying strip club, but it's a possibility, right? Oh my God, this is da da da, right? It may be charged maybe sexually, it may be charged with beauty, it may be charged with environment, but that does not escape the intent. The intent is I gotta have this one because when a man wants what he wants, he goes after what he wants. So it can be in any environment.
And it's certainly not on the internet. Let me scroll through all your bikini pictures before I say if I want to swipe you or not either. You know what I mean? I think it's you're beautiful. Hey, you're beautiful versus let me see all the pictures I can see of you before I say something to you.
So when you say that you see someone that you want to get, what do you mean by that? What are you trying to get?
What do you mean?
Well, so a man's first attraction is always a physical attraction. That's period. So anytime a guy approaches you, he has a physical attraction. It's not like he came to you and be like, "Oh, she looks like she can have a great conversation." Nobody does that, right? A man is straight visual. So we visually see something that appeals to us. So we go towards that. So everything after that is whatever after that. But the first approach is the what we see. So you telling me I don't have that opportunity and or respect if given in that environment, I see beautiful woman, I want to holler at you, and maybe I want to holler at you, and you may see intentions like it's just 3 a.m., 4 a.m., I want to take you home, but I want your information or whatever, so maybe we can talk later, another time, later in the week, whatever the case may be. There's that possibility as well.
I agree, but I feel like nowadays that's really not. That's also a rare case too. Like,
Well,
I feel like I also, for my age and for the people I go see at the club, that is never the case. I don't think I've ever met a man at the club. Or I don't know how many times I've been to the club, like whatever, but that like, but I'm just saying like that's never the case. It's never the case of like, oh, I'm just trying to get your number, and then they text you later on or they say something like, I want to take you out. That's never the case. It's like it's always like wanting to come to somebody's house. Oh, you should come over and watch a movie, or you should let me come over and we play cards. I'm not letting you in my house. Right. Like,
well, let me ask this question then. Do you approach men? Like, is there a man that you would say, you would look up and say, hey, how you doing?
yes.
What's up with you?
I have.
And how did that go? Tell me about that.
I was actually with Annika. We were at a coffee shop. We were just having brunch, and I seen this man that I found attractive. It's the same way. I found him physically attractive. He was cute, and, he was just there by himself, like, doing some work or something. I walked up to him, and I was like, hey, I just had to let you know, I think you are really fine. Like, I was like, and somebody should tell you that. And, like, I was wondering if I could get your number. And he was very, like, flustered. Like, I feel like that's not something a girl would go up and do. I was just like, I gotta try, I guess. So, and that's what happened. We ended up texting. We went on a few dates. Like, he initiated it. I feel like I didn't really initiate the dates after that. He was like, I think it was really bold of you to come up to me and, ask for my number and all this stuff. And then he eventually was like, yeah, I really want to take you on a date. I want to do this, this, and this. And it kind of fell out from there. But that was...
So I'd like to know just the dating scene in general. You date women and men. So the dating scene in general, right? The dating scene based off of the fact that a lot of y'all's focus or whatever comes from an app and or social media or whatever. When y'all moving out and when you move, would you rather it be, you saying you would rather it be the face-to-face aspect or whatever, just period, because do you think you get to the layers faster rather than the social media where you have to kind of pull out the layers and then find somebody else 2 years later, like, this ain't working, that kind of thing?
I feel like,
I would say so.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not going to use any apps for dating or anything. I don't plan on dating for like at least a year or something, but I feel like I would want to meet them in a place where like we have a shared activity. So like, I don't know. All I can think of is chess club because that's what I go to. But I would prefer to meet them at like a shared activity somewhere where like, I don't know, I could have like an intellectual conversation because like at a club, I feel like I would just meet somebody that I would want to like hook up with and not somebody that like I feel like there's less likely to find somebody that I can have like a good intellectual conversation with because I can't date
So
somebody.
did you
Is
know
that
the
your-
new thing is for business owners to take their clients to clubs to do business?
Really?
Yeah.
For like, I mean, that'd be hard to have a conversation.
Yeah,
It's
but
loud.
what I'm trying to get to is that there's all type of people who want to listen to music, right? Who enjoys vibration, who enjoys being public and being social with people and seeing people and talking to people, right? But I believe that it's hard to talk to people who believe that you should be talking on the internet, right? Like talking in person is kind of like, yikes, I don't do that much. But, hey, give me your Instagram and let's talk on the computer, right? But some people don't want to talk on the computer because it's a computer. It's impersonal. And so, how do you ladies feel about that? Like communicating with a person in person versus computer. Hey, let's take a walk. Let's go to the park. Let's talk. Let's communicate via face to face than over the internet.
So starting off, like, we go on a date together and then the communication from there online?
No.
No, I don't.
We go on a date together and we continue to communicate in person versus ever exchanging any Instagram or Snapchat or anything.
I feel like it would be better. I feel like nowadays, like for our generation, it would be hard. I don't think we can have hard conversations, and that's why we choose to do it online because it's easier to have conflict, hard conversations, stuff that we want to bring up that we're too scared to in person. It's just easier to do it over a phone than it is even on the phone. Like even over text message, on the phone, over FaceTime, it's easier to do that because you're not physically with that person to have that conversation with them, because any person is going to get anxiety for conflict. If we have conflict and I needed to bring that up to you, we're going to both have anxiety. I got to tell you something, or hey, we need to talk. We both already have anxiety about that, but it's if you proceed to do it that way or if you proceed to do it over the phone. And I feel like we do need to go past those boundaries of like, you got to get past being uncomfortable to have those conversations. And then, as you said, if you're going to do that at the club, to do that with random people,
How do you, with your folks, how do y'all move into that dynamic, that conversation, that uncomfortableness? How do y'all start to do that?
Like to have like a difficult
Not even everybody else. How would y'all start to gather it so that y'all can start getting outside of it? Because you already said in some way, shape, form, or fashion, the way that either the dating pool and the communication or whatever is kind of stale and whatever. And then we mentioned how we did. It was like, that shit works. That sound like it works. How can y'all work to blend and or get that today for y'all?
Like to blend it all together.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like social media and different technology and stuff is super helpful to potentially bring people together. I think the way that we're using it as a society is making things sort of conflicting because people are not being their genuine self. But when you can see like the full dynamic of like looking at somebody's LinkedIn, looking at somebody's Facebook and their Instagram and how they want the world to perceive them is kind of helpful information to use when you like have a genuine conversation with them, because I feel like you get to know like a deeper version of themselves, and sometimes you can catch those like red flags a little easier if you see like an Instagram post with like something weird on it.
So
I don't know.
y'all like Google?
I'm hella
Do y'all
stalker.
Google people before you go on a date with them?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's like a whole.
That's for safety purposes, though. Like there's so many dudes out there that they've been convicted of many things, and now you're gonna try to. No, I'm not playing with that.
Smart.
No.
Yeah.
So do your age group still desire to be married?
I think so. I think a lot of us want to be married later though in life. It feels like.
I don't think we want to. I think that's what has come to, and it's hard for us to accept that because it's like, I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like most, I don't know, for who we look up to, I suppose, they've all been married at 25, you know, in their 20s, and now
you're
we're
basing
seeing
it off like parents and stuff like
right,
that.
yeah, and now we're seeing it more so as like our generation. No, we're not getting married and we're not having kids until later, and that's hard for us because we feel like we're not there yet, or we feel like we're not.
There's too many options.
Yeah, or like we're not up at. I don't know what I'm trying to say. We're just
Well, why
not
do you
up to
gotta
par
do
for
it
that.
then? Like if you don't desire it, why do you do it?
I wouldn't say it's a goal. Like, I don't think a goal in my life is to, like, oh, I really need to find a man and I need to get married. That's not really, like, a goal to me. Like, if that were to happen, it's okay. I'm not going to push that away if I really find a good-ass man that's my man, and that's who I want to be with. I'm not going to be selfish or ashamed of that. But also, it's not something that I'm, like, only seeking out. That's all I want right now is I'm going to go out to these clubs. I'm going to go out to these coffee shops. I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to ask this man for his number because I want to get married. That's not really how I move.
in terms of marriage, we can talk about partnership, right? Partnership, longevity. It don't necessarily have to say the term married, right? But ultimately, we're looking for a lifelong partner. Would you say that's the same? Mm-hmm. So without the catalyst of marriage, is that the ultimate goal? That's what you're working towards? And if so, when do you think it's that time? When is that time?
Like, are you saying when is that time to marry them after you've been with your
Not
partner?
even married.
this long?
Remember, I'm taking the
that you
term
want to
and
be
we're-
with this person for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I think when I'm settled in my career, I will be a lot more open to finding somebody. But I'm definitely like very focused on my career, and I'm trying to like, I don't know, better myself. so that-
Individuality.
Yeah, like I'm trying to find my own like real character and my real like place in this world before I can find somebody that will fit into it, because I can't fit somebody into a plan that isn't set.
So in my, I'm just thinking here, in my thinking about human nature, human beings, they typically get settled in terms of their career. They feel established in their career. Let's say in their late 30s, maybe 40s, right? So you're saying in your late 30s and 40s, that's when you possibly want to settle down, right? And then that's the time to, well, not even settle down, but that's when you're thinking about partnership and maybe even the excess of kids and so on and so forth, right?
I feel
Is that
like-
about right?
Well, I feel like I'll be settled in my career in my 30s, like when I turn in
Early
3
or
years.
late 30s?
Yeah, that's what I
Early.
said.
Early.
I'm saying.
Because late
Early.
30s is like, yikes. Like, you 40 years old? Yikes, we getting old.
Well,
Well, I'm only saying stuff like this because I'm getting the science behind it all, and to be honest, you have to have a reality check, right? A reality check with the timeline. The timeline is, let's say, in your 20s or whatever, you're trying to figure yourself out, and this may even be a reason why folks got married younger back in the days or whatever. And I'm not saying that worked out either, right? So I'm not giving any justification, but if instead of the older generation was marrying early or whatever, and then maybe finding a career or not, and then you're deciding to do so later, then how much time are you presenting to be with a partner and to build that life with the partner? If we're talking about 30s and 40s, which in technically human beings, your flesh, if you will, only lives to about at the most 70. I mean, women about 80s or something like that. So I'm trying to give a timeline is what I'm thinking.
I don't think there has to be a timeline though. I feel like that's why we are so stuck on timelines because as I was saying, like I'm 25 and all my parents, parents, other people, you get what I'm saying? All of these parents have been married at this time, and I feel like I'm late to that timeline. I feel like, okay, I haven't found a man, I don't have no kids, and I'm late to that timeline, but reality, that's not real. The timeline's not real. You can put a timeline on, at 25, your brain fully develops. I don't think that's true for men.
That's a lie.
That's, you know what I mean? Or you hit your 30s and this is the time
40.
that you hit your 30s and this is the time that you should really be having kids and then, or this is the time you should be finding your career and then that timeline after that is when you should be looking for someone. I don't think that our goal needs to be to find somebody. It doesn't have to be like that. I could be in my 30s, late 30s, whatever 30s it is, and I get my career set. All right, shit, I got my career set. Now I get to travel. Like it's so many different avenues that you can go on. There's some people that, okay, yeah, I have my career set. All right, now let me look into a relationship. But I don't necessarily think that relationship needs to have a timeline either. You could be high school sweethearts and still get divorced at 50, or you could get together at 45 and be together forever. It doesn't, I don't think that matters. Or you could get together at 30 and still get divorced at 35. Like, anything can happen, shit can happen, but I don't think putting a timeline on it makes it any easier because we all expect to, by this timeline, at this age, I should have this, when it is so different for every single person.
I really appreciate,
question.
okay, hold on, nigga. I really appreciate that response because it's unreal for everybody to put themselves in a timeline that's been expected by somebody else's whatever. When the real journey, the real goal about life is about your journey. Mm-hmm. So it's all about you. It's all about what you make of it. So I'm real excited and happy that you have that thought process because my timeline is my timeline. The journey is about self. The journey actually is the goal, and that's something that I learned a long time ago. The goal ain't marriage. The goal ain't to win $100 million and be this boss and such. The goal is the journey. Mm-hmm. Everything about it, I'm learning for and living for. So that's what I appreciate. Go ahead and answer. Goddamn question.
So, how you ladies feel about 50-50 in a relationship?
That was so tender.
Transition.
I'm not the transition dude. I'm a straight edge.
I have mostly been the breadwinner in most of my relationships. So 50-50, it's mostly been 75-25, I would say. And I don't know. I don't care.
Do you like moldable men or something?
Yeah, I would prefer a house husband, I think.
Yikes.
Wow. That's a term? Did they got a hashtag for that
husband.
shit? House husband?
Yikes.
That even hurt my throat saying that shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I like being the breadwinner. I would say I'm very competitive, so I feel like sometimes I have a little bit of a masculine ego, but I also like when dudes pay for things. I don't know, or women. I don't really. I'm pretty flexible. I think it's very situational. I'm very like, if I'm making this much more than you, then I'll pay this percentage.
You see her hand?
So
she said this much more than you. She didn't say that.
You take consideration of the moment, right? Of the person, the moment, or whatever. And it's like it's not all in or all out. It is what are you bringing to the table at any given time? If we've been together and I'm rocking with you and you lost your job or whatever, I got you kind of thing. You're not you need to get your shit together kind of person.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, I'll still say you need to get your shit together.
Right.
Obviously. But like I will cover. Like I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like you have a different. Well, I don't know.
What's your take on 50-50?
I don't necessarily would want to go 50-50, but I feel like men nowadays are more adamant about that. I don't know. I've only been I've only been in like one relationship where it was really an issue, and it was like it comes down to everything where he wanted 50-50, and at that point it just gets overwhelming, kind of annoying. Like, I don't know. I just don't like if you're putting on this like face that you are here to provide and you're gonna, provide, protect, do all this, and then you're like, but we're gonna go get McDonald's and then I want to split it. No, I don't. Like,
that's
you
crazy,
know,
though.
like, but I mean, that's really like.
Who is this nigga?
He's counting his pennies.
McDonald's? I'm sorry.
But there is like a lot of instances where you go. There is a lot of instances where I'll go on dates and that's kind of what they expect, especially out of like first dates. Like, oh, I don't really know you. I don't know why you expect me to be paying for all this, which I just kind of thought that was a thing growing up. That's just what I knew, I guess, from.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Man, you know, this is hurting my heart just listening to
I
him.
asked a girl
50-50.
out-
Wait, there is accepting 50-50.
If
I want 50-50
if I
too.
asked a woman out, I paid. If she asked me out, which rarely ever happened, I still fucking paid. I still fucking paid because I was honored that, goddamn, you want to go out to me, okay, with me, okay, great. But I'm gonna take care of this because my manhood don't sit back well and just be like, she got that. And not saying she ain't. And she can't, right? It's just how I deal. I went and killed these chickens. I brought them home. Now that's my hunter gatherer kind of thought process. Ooh, oh my goodness. All right, well, I want to know this McDonald's motherfucker.
That was just like, I don't know. I feel like it can start off like that too, where they just act like, okay, no, I got this, and then it gets down to the point where it's like
They're actually in debt.
or it's not even that. It's just like they don't want to pay for shit no more. They don't want to do shit for you no more, and I think that's how you.
How long
they
do you
got
think it
you.
should last?
Exactly,
They got
and
you.
that's where it's like. Yeah, like basically that's it. They know that you're already in the relationship. Why do I gotta keep providing? Why do I gotta keep doing this when, I don't know, I want to look to my man for something like that. Like if we're gonna go out or if I want to do anything, some excursion, I want to be like, yo, like, I'll. But it doesn't really necessarily have to be the whole thing too. Like I wouldn't have a problem pitching it, but if that's my man though, I'm not gonna just do that for any man
Right, when
or
you're
on
just
a couple
dating and
dates.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like if we going on this whole cruise,
Actually,
okay, I got every little
That's a very
expense
good point.
that's on that.
She
Like,
made a very good point. If it's my man, then we talk it through and we work shit out. But dating, you don't expect the same in regards to 50-50 when it's dating.
no.
Okay. Y'all hear that?
Wait a minute.
Hey, man,
But why? Why?
Why don't I expect 50-50? I just
Because she's the prize.
Oh,
Whoa, there we go. That's what
I would say, I don't know. I don't know how to
You
explain
got
it.
I said it. It's
Because
out there.
I feel like it's obvious.
So from my perspective, I'm the prize.
Okay.
Now that don't mean that I have feminine ways as much as it means that if we are in a relationship, you benefit just as much from me as I would for you. But the only difference is I need to know what's tangible as far as benefits for me.
What's
versus
a benefit?
how you look.
What's a benefit for you? Like, what do you look for?
What do you mean?
Like, do you specifically look for women that are like arm candy, or do you look for women that like can add, I don't know,
I look
something in
for
your
a
life?
partner. I want
partner.
Right,
I want
a partner.
a partner. I want somebody who can rise with me. You know what I mean? Not me above them or them above me, but rise together. Yeah. If I start off courting you and taking care of you, I'm going to do that forever. But that don't mean you get to sit back and be like this forever either. You know what I
Right,
mean? You got to
right.
make me feel like I want to keep taking care of you by making sure that you're taking care of me. Because I think at some point it's lost. And women be like, oh, just give it to me. And you stop trying. You know what I mean? You know how y'all put that bun thing in your hair, up stop, you know, you ain't even doing your hair no more. You just walking out the house and yet I'm continuously giving you everything that you ask for and or need. So it has to be some type of
Give Give and take.
Yes, some give and take.
The reason why it's a pain point for me to say that women are the prize is because it in this society there's so much given one side or the other, right? In this society, someone has to win. Someone is the bigger, someone's the greater, or whatever the case may be. And when it comes to a partnership, that's not the case. That's not real. If you want a real partner, even partner with he and I with business, he can't be the bigger business partner. We both give a selective amount of whatever to the business to fulfill and make millions, right? So no one is the prize. The prize is the relationship. The prize is you both of you. So if you come into the relationship, any relationship, stating that this is me, I'm the table and all this other kind of corny ass bullshit or whatever, then you don't want a relationship. You want to be by yourself.
Well, they're actually turning themselves into that eye candy, right? Because they're really saying that
I have no value.
Yeah. I'm value. Another man can come and drop this and he can get me from me because he's doing more versus you going with me with the long haul, right? And we can get triple, quadruple what that man had offered you from the beginning. All you gotta do is keep along the path.
Yeah.
Together.
So I don't believe there's a winner or loser when it comes to a partnership. You both are in this together. You are both the prize. The relationship is the prize because you're always giving. And sometimes the scale is uneven at times, maybe because, let's say something harsh. Let's say I got cancer or whatever. So now you got to pick up the pace a little bit. But now I recovered because you helped out on that situation. And now I'm back. And now we're balanced and so on and so forth. So the prize is the relationship, understanding the balance. So there's never a 50-50. It's 100-100.
So then the prize is really whoever's going to hold you down the longest.
Yep.
That's pretty deep.
Yeah. So we're gonna end on that note because it's pretty deep. We're gonna end on that note, and hopefully that's something that y'all continue to share on. Being understanding that relationships, it's hard getting into, but ultimately both of you are the prize. So figure out how to make the relationship the prize. Work together and balance that shit out. When you're in a relationship, when you're courting, figure that shit out. Find out how you got to this motherfucker has got red flags. Bust them out, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a different characterization. But a relationship, a partnership is totally different, and it deserves time. It deserves patience. It deserves understanding, et cetera. All right, so that's our joint. Y'all make sure y'all tell y'all people to like, subscribe to the Gator Mamba Show, and we out here.